What's up, y'all? It's me, it's your boy Asmongold, and today I'm going to talk about something that's probably going to piss a lot of people off, but we're going to talk about it anyway, and that is why I think LFR should be removed from the game. Not marginalized any more than it already has been, thank God, or any other form of it, like not gotten rid of the loot or anything. I think it should be completely out of the game entirely. And I know this is going to piss a lot of people off. I know people only raid LFR, they only do LFR, and they're going to say, Asmongold, what about me? And I'm going to be like, well, what about you? What about you? The game does not revolve around you. It's like, it's not about one person. I think that it's better for the game in general. And I know a lot of people do only raid LFR, and this would take away their ability to raid, and that's fine to me. I think that that's really fine. If you can't commit the time to do something, I don't think you should be rewarded for not doing that. Just because you can't do something, like I don't have time to be in a, like in the NBA. Like or if I had all the time in the world, I still wouldn't be in the NBA. I suck at basketball. But either way, I still, I'm not complaining to the NBA, to Michael Jordan, saying that, it's not fair that I'm not in the NBA just because I don't have enough time for it. It's crazy. So I don't really know why, like, when this happened, where people think that just because they don't have time to do something, that they should still be able to get the same rewards or equivalent or similar whatever rewards. I don't really, honestly, it makes no real sense to me. Because if we start going down that path, man, like I've got some tickets to send in for Blizzard because I didn't get Gladiator in any of the seasons ever, and I want to get some of those mounts, but I'm pretty sure that they're not going to give them to me, and hopefully that they don't, because that wouldn't be fair, right? Because other people put in a lot of time for something and they got a reward out of it. And what LFR really does is it takes away one element of reward out of the game. Now, I remember, man, like back in Burning Crusade, I saw Illidan for the first time. That was it. That was it. That's why I came to the raid, just to see Illidan. We wiped in 10 seconds. Okay, no, we wiped in 15 because he had to run around and kill everybody. But we knew it was over by 10. And it was awesome just to be able to see Illidan, to be able to do it. And guys, I don't know about y'all, but if it was up to me, like I wouldn't want to keep doing the same instance 4 times in a row. You do LFR, then you do normal, then you do heroic, then you do mythic. I forgot. That's how many we have. I forgot how many there are. That's not progression. That's repetition, and I hate that. Like I remember back in the day. I'm gonna tell you guys, back in the day, it was not like this. And I know that people say the game has changed. It's the game, the world has changed, the gaming environment has changed. Man, I said this before, I say it again. There's a new crop of 14-year-old neckbeards coming up every single day, and they would love to just sit in front of the computer 8 hours a day and farm Cenarian circle reputation. Man, they love that. Like, I was me. I was 16, but I didn't really have too much of a neckbeard. I was not a... It just hadn't come in yet, and I wasn't fat either, but I was still sitting there, and it was a mental state of mind, and I was raiding all the time. I was spending all the time I could playing the game, and I loved it, and I never stopped playing either. And I think that those are the people that the game really needs to pull in. It needs to pull in the people who are really devoted to it, because if you run an LFR, the odds are you're not even subscribed to the game all the time. And that's fine. If you're not subscribed to the game all the time, I'm not trying to shit talk you, but it's like from a financial standpoint, who are you gonna spend your money on? The person who only pays for the game half the time, or the person who pays for it all the time? I would say the person who pays for it all the time is literally twice as valuable. Now, I mean, obviously that's not, the case every single time, or even half the time, or probably even some of the time. It's hardly ever the case in that specific. But you guys can see what I'm trying to say. Is it the more hardcore, the real, like, people like me, man. Like, I shaved, but just the other day I had a neck beard, and I'm going to have it again probably in a few weeks. It's like, guys, let me tell you something. I change my transmog more often than I change my clothes. Like, I want Blizzard to cater to me, because I always play this game, and I'm always going to. So that's one of the main reasons, is because one of the big rewards, guys, is that you used to just see the content, man. It's like you see the Lich King. It's like, oh. And I remember my buddy Jeff was sitting right there on that computer, and he got to the Lich King before me. That was a bad day in my life. That was a real bad day. I remember I went to bed and I said, you know what? I'm going to leave my guild. I'm going to join a better guild, and I'm going to see the Lich Man, and I'm going to kill him before Jeff does. And you know what? I did. And that was really, really awesome. Now, I mean, like, obviously, it's not really a big deal. I didn't even kill him heroic until the end of the expansion. But the idea is that just to be on the throne, on the frozen throne, man, people were excited about that. There were screenshots of it. And as soon as you got there, people were taking screenshots next to the Lich King. Are people doing that next to Imperator? No, nobody gives a shit. It's just fucking ogre, right? And so that's one thing that thing needs to change. And back in the day, you used to go through. All right, let me tell you guys the progression from back in vanilla. All right, first you get to 60. That's 3 months. Okay, after you get to 60, you do UBRS. All right, that or LBRS. Like if you really suck, you got to do LBRS first. But if you're not too bad, you can do UBRS, 10-man raid, and it gives blues. All right, it's like it gives a couple epics, they never drop. Right, it gives blues. So you do that for about a month, and then you get the stuff ninja'd. You lose it to off specs, or it just doesn't drop. Probably the last one. And then finally, after you do that enough times, you finally get into ZG. Or let's say, you're really social and you get into a guild and you start doing Molten Core. You do Molten Core and Zul'Gurub enough times, I'm talking about a lot of times. Guys, the bosses drop like 4 pieces of loot and there's 40 people in the raid. Do the math, okay? After that, you finally get into AQ20. And then you wipe and you die, and it's actually not even that hard. The first 2 bosses were really easy, and then after that you still wipe and die, and Osiren just keeps killing your raid until you're probably even getting into BWL. And so finally, after you farm AQ20 enough times, and Molten Core and ZG and all this other stuff, you're finding ready to take the next step in the BWL. And the first thing you do is you wipe 100 times on Razor Scale, or on Razor. There's a lot of Razors, okay? I think this is Razor Maw. No, Razor Gore the Untamed, yeah. You wipe on him a ton, and then finally, after you kill him, then you wipe on Veilstraz a ton. And then maybe you might try AQ40 after you finish most of BWL. Okay, after you finish most of BWL, then you try AQ40. And so it's not like you're going back and it's like, okay, now I've got to do Molten Core Heroic now. No, it's none of that. You go to one dungeon to another dungeon. And what I really don't like about LFR is that it kind of marginalizes and makes the older dungeons obsolete. And so it's like, what are you going to be doing TOES for? Terracine of Swing or Mogushan Vaults. Whenever, Siege of Orgrimmar is out, right? You queue up for a dungeon, you go AFK, you petting your cat on your bed, you're laying on your bed petting your cat, watching Netflix, and you got perps popping up on your screen. Like, what kind of game is that, right? I don't know. It kind of bothers me, and I know that a lot of people are going to defend this, and that's all right. And, I didn't even finish. That's how crazy it was. I didn't even finish. So finally, after you clear most of AQ40, you go into Nax and you wipe on the Spiderwing, okay? And then you clear most of AQ40, you finally kill Cthulhu, and then maybe you kill like 4 or 5 bosses in Nax, right? And then the rest of it is just you're fighting people who are disconnecting. You're fighting people who, the safety dance on Hegan Young Clean lags their computer out and they die every time. And it's just all kinds of crazy stuff that's always happening. And guys, it was amazing. I loved it. It was awesome because you could see, like that, the thing, like the Ash Condi. All right, I was looking at his scissors, so I was going to hold up his scissors like it was Ash Condi, but it really looks nothing like that. And so, guys, it was a real adventure, okay? And the element of adventure is kind of gone whenever you kill the same dude 4 times, but in this time he has a special ad pop up that's red, and you got to kill him, right? And it's like, is a LFR, guys, is loot for nothing and perps for free. And I can't stand it. And another thing that really bothers me, and this is what it really comes down to, guys, is entitlement. Now, before Dragon Soul, because Dragon Soul was whenever LFR came out. Before Dragon Soul, I had my GDKP runs going on all the time. Fire Lynch GDKP. And man, I shaved a whole lot of money off the pot. But everybody came, was happy. We all had a good time. And I made a lot of money, and so did everybody else. It was a fun time. Whenever Dragon Soul came out, the motivation for those runs went like down entirely, and it sucked because I used to love doing those runs, getting everybody together, getting everybody in vent, making new friends, all that stuff. And it's like people who play together, not really stay together, they just stay subscribed, okay? And that's really what it comes down to for Blizzard. And so this is why it's very surprising to me that Blizzard has not realized this, because LFR caters to people who are inherently not going to pay for their game all the time. And guys, it's kind of common sense that the reason that they have the expansions and like all the patches come out is because people in between the patches are paying for the developers and everything to create the next patch. And so whenever somebody only subscribes for half the time, it's going to be kind of hard for them to continue having the funds to make the same quality of patches. Hopefully that was the case with Warlords of Draenor, considering it's only got like 5 instances and like 1.5 raids. So hopefully, guys, this will stop. And the real thing with entitlement to me is before Dragon Soul, if you wanted a loot, you had to have, in one way or another, people cooperate with you for you to get that loot. Dragon Soul and LFR remove that. If you kill a boss, there's no loot council, there's no people rolling against you, there's no possibility of you not getting the loot because you did bad. You will get loot regardless of anything that you do. It doesn't matter how bad or how good you perform, you are rewarded the exact same. And I think that is a horrible, horrible model. I believe in equal opportunity, not equal outcome. And I understand that obviously 640 gear is not equal outcome, but it's still a reward for doing relatively nothing. And that's the main problem I see, is that after LFR came out, there was a lot more of this like entitlement thing where, oh, I think I should be able to, you know, get this and get that, and, you know, be able to get mythic gear from doing LFR, and they should remove heroic mode and mythic mode because only a little bit of people do those, and most people do, I don't know, like LFR or normal mode, crazy stuff like that. And before any of this happened, there was still, I guess, some element of progression. You know, you'd still want to do Bastion of Twilight, I can't remember, Bastion of Twilight and like BWD, Blackwing Descent, all that stuff. You'd still want to do that whenever Firelands came out because there was still gear that you could get that would help you get into Firelands. And so it was still this element of progression and this element of, I guess, like, an adventure to where you start in one place and you take multiple steps through multiple places to get where you want to be. Now, you take the same step 4 different ways. And is repetitive, and it's not really very entertaining. You know, this is I just don't like it. Like, that's really what it comes down to, is I really don't like LFR. I think it creates an entitlement environment, and it's very negative for the community because people who would, you know, kind of step out of their shells and start playing with their friends or make friends or maybe just quit, that's fine. You're never going to have everybody that's going to want to play the game. But I think, again, as I said in the beginning of this video, you should focus on the people who are the most devoted players because they're the people who are going to be playing the game pretty much regardless of whatever. And so it's a real issue, and I'm glad that they made LFR gear pretty much completely suck. Like, let's be honest. And it just really is easy, and it doesn't really take any effort, and it's just absolutely, completely pathetic. But hopefully they'll take the next step and get rid of it entirely. And I know that a lot of people are going to say, and I said this before again, is they're going to say, you're trying to take away my raid. And I say, hell yes I am, because it's ruining the game. A lot of people disagree with me. That's fine. Okay? This is my opinion. Okay? If you have yours, let me know yours. Maybe we could do like a thing on stream where I have some people on there and we have like a live debate or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that in a couple weeks. We'll see. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you agree. But even if you don't, thanks for watching, and like, comment, subscribe.